Okay, let's do it. Yeah.
The bow ties fairly fly.
Thank you.
Yeah.
A lot of people ask me if I can tie it myself.
Can you? I guess you just did, didn't you? I don't know how to do it.
No, I've been wearing it since I did high school debate.
What is Cornell's mascot?
A bear.
You gotta get a Cornell version one, yeah?
I'll have to look for one.
I'm sure they sell one.
They sell Cornell everything.
Brett Bricker did that. Although Hammery from Emory actually made it for him by hand. They have to be fairly easy to make as long as you get the right fabric, I'm sure.
Yeah.
Well, no, it was a Jayhawk. But, okay, I'm ready whenever you all. Do you have everything up?
I need to get it up.
Internet problems? Oh shit. Apparently a North Korean soldier on guard duty at the border turned around and shot everybody else and then defected to the south. It's kind of, well, have you seen how the border kind of functions there? Yeah, I mean, if you try to defect, they'll shoot you.
Right.
Like they always have somebody looking back to see if people are trying to defect.
Huge space of just mines. Or is that in the water?
Well, I mean, it depends on where this happened. In some areas where they do diplomatic joint discussions, they do have a building that's in between. And so I wonder if it was in that area.
Yeah.
But if he shot his comrades and then walked across the mines, that's pretty ballsy.
That's for 2 and C. We need 1 and C, 2, there's 2 cards for that one, and then there's some make blocks.
Good to go?
Almost, sorry.
Yeah.
All set?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Plan the United States federal government shall lower anti-dumping tariffs on gasoline, silicon, affordable steel cells from People's Republic of China, advance one China, U.S. double tariffs, start an clean energy trade war, chapter 827, the U.S. and China seem to be on the verge of a trade war, these to initiate to build on the start every economy, so that you on the edge of conflict, Europe, suffering, use unemployment, China showing signs of slowdown, the whole world economy giving go under the move, being perpetual, resource, fresh gas, and fire, bomb, police, security, with protect, and soul, then also China, immediately retaliate, news getting to the rim, freezer, home place for now, to bring down the world economy, and once again, it's been erected to slow down, move further into tax for protection, and now is key solar goes over 9 states within months, 1.95, China's declared the defeat with U.S. soldiers hit to Obama as Obama faced re-election, I will make findings since as early as November, and the dispute is taking up the struggles and the structures all machine, and business Obama when said it's a priority, and strategic value of renewable markets to make the conflict uniquely likely to escalate Beijing removed 9-3 after the U.S. has launched an investigation of the Chinese and initiated the trade barrier investigation. The U.S. has a measure for the renewable industry and an investigation of 2006 projects constituted prohibited studies of linking the intensified efforts between the U.S. and China. The following reasons targets of estimates of renewable energy are increasing in the U.S. as an important sector, and the will elicit backlash from the U.S. and the renewable energy decision to test towards the huge potential of the U.S. wants to lead in the renewable energy driving and China's economic restructuring and trade friction previously occurred friction to carry more strategic value than middle and low-end projects because the sector is a strategic part of the U.S. and not likely to compromise and trade war causes U.S.-China military conflict 97. The greatest lies that economic place between the U.S. and China's polar military aggression and economic conflict leads to military conflict in the Chinese ability to rotate precedence of no sovereignty without the growth in the U.S. also the superpowers depend on ability to lead economic protections policy and political conflicts more than military budgets and ASAT tests, and that causes nuclear war, World War III conflict 9. War between China and the U.S. has been told to escalate to be a nuclear conflict in World War I may be affected by including Japan, Korea, Russia, Australia, and India, and Great Britain and China would plan to attack Japan and begin expansions would create a national standoff if the countries would not be affected, and unless the U.S.-China trade war causes economic conflicts and devastating protections among the 11. If the trade war erupts, exporters will go operate in production capacity and go back to so you use eventually in America is record breaks and employment as a trade war exertion fear of arching impact on the global economy, manufacturing and suffering. But energy markets limited to long term loss of play all countries from protections from trade war causes have an effect leading to drop in global trade and cause more damage than the financial crisis in the trade war. The likely chain reaction and breaking economic losses in the 1936 year protections limited to economic depression to improvement history much more fierce from more destructive than depression lead to military complications and that causes nuclear world war or that causes World War X or 8. Curves on trade will inspire to practice and response to turn to global disaster protection, bring up the range of competition of combinations, recognize full scale military encounters, economic conditions, keep bringing previous for conflicts, nations, attention away from domestic programs, problems, groups will boost the frequency and scale of the attacks, conditions of occurs to stabilize by road nations and growing cultural and religious opinions to be survival, so completely swearing genocidal acts, traitors, and blood, biological, nuclear weapons, beginnings of the New World War, and most of the recent side is proof of direct connection between war, economic relations, military conflict, World 10, periods of economic conflict, just like conflict in the culture, and redistribution of relative power, and the uncertainty about power levels, increasing this calculating economic cycle, and back to likelihood of conflict among major powers, and expectation of future targets of concept that the likelihood of conflict increases, such as use force to get those readers long areas, find a strong correlation between conflict, prosperity, and economic conflict, and suspend internal conflict and diversionary theories suggest that facing economic government sometimes by military conflicts and economic line use of force super related to increasing economic social links, economic conflict, external conflict, natural levels, and tariff prevents clean energy cooperation. AP519 U.S. tariffs on solar made threaten clean energy cooperation. China's government rejected U.S. ruling and solar and the two pledge to cooperate on renewable energy, but accuse each other violating free trade and the trend war. The ruling harm clean energy cooperation. China retaliating against U.S. suppliers, and that's key to global energy global clean tech diffusion. Lane 11. There are global benefits to clean energy cooperation between U.S. and China. Cost results for the world, making investment financially sustainable and making clean energy as part of neutral policies of energy access, making clean energy more available, entails making the cost competitive on a global scale and importing and developing industry and expand availability and capacities and trying to use innovation and use diffusion come before it. Specifically, derails the diffusion of solar between 11 and solar trade growth between the U.S. and China. Solely supportable solar after many years of global competition. Many solar markets around the world to contribute parity, trade protection, legal side and solar at the very time of creating through the charting the space of solar hundreds on global competition, trade efficiency, cost of production, trade barriers in the U.S. Increase the price of solar globally, cost of erosion, political support, at a critical juncture, and the alternative is global war. Trade 2. There's the current source taking cooperation on the majority of cities only viable option in terms of renewable energy. Alternatives lies in massive military buildup, policy prepared by leading economics and global escalation war, or fossil resource and worldwide energy resources, renewable energy, and tariff undermines the different platforms to stopping climate change. Barbados 12. One of the few bright spots. One of the few bright spots in the national negotiations curbing emissions from the Durban. Notable for securing inclusion of the U.S. and China, the two countries are responsible for 40% of the annual emissions goals of economic and fostering the cooperation and development to periods of the CS multilateral negotiated Durban make it signal the interest in the U.S. and China take the lead in NASA some solar panels from China and the solar energy will lead to the competition with China over clean energy imports. They value the trade to disputes for its economic relations. U.S. and China have less incentive to pursue reducing GHG to tragedy the producer even undermine the fragile U.S. cooperation on climate, and Durban is a crucial starting point for emissions reductions. Now is key news scientists 11 times running out of the plan for the because Kyoto is in 2012 saying that Durban is a pact to start again the working group remain investigation of the persuade countries to boost the voluntary pledge for 2020 local new with curbing emission now also racing culty ambition explanation of the past now and warming is real and has represented cause like in 2012 the potential for catastrophic emissions are real and overwhelming scientific evidence shows the causal correlation between the CO2 and respective temperature changes over the majority of the scientific communities agreement about the risk of catastrophic climate change between the greenhouse gases over the risk of the extinction of the human species and public debate is necessary to inform the public about the risk of protectionism. Chose 7 public information is not listed in the trade policy through neglect of protection policy or past without rigorous deviating approach one economic health systems to educate themselves with health protections through participation and deliberation and the failure of political engagement emerged from Holly and the tariff was contributed to the world war and advanced use domestic solar protection parity and widespread adoption in the U.S. The tariff for rails that Bush 518 tariffs are inflationary customer spacing new more from Britain is experiencing inflation in American made animal food costs more due to the absence of competition problems in the Chinese and nothing but domestic solar not remain competitive. Competition will mean that the U.S. won't be competing as the counterproductive the group parity tariffs enable high-cost manufacturing to continue resulting in higher costs and result with the penetration to ensure success, adaptability, and commitment to innovation. It's about figuring out how to survive against highly motivated competition and tariffs make prices higher. The exact moment of solar becoming competitive and Chinese retaliation will further devastate domestic solar. Period 112 solar will complain will farmer from the U.S. solar industry and competition from Chinese manufacturing tariffs will have to devastate the rest of the U.S. solar industry where the jobs are the 50% in installation, 24% in manufacturing other than cells because the cost of the economy, the cost of the growth of solar cells in the U.S. is higher. The retaliatory place on the U.S. exports of polysilicon will 11,000 more American jobs. The rest of the U.S. solar had a positive trade balance with China due in part to polysilicon equipment. The U.S. companies selling in dollars would adversely affect us to manufacturing that sell to Chinese companies and Chinese imports are key. The tariff directly raised the price from procurement at all 12 natural price in the U.S. are generally like Chinese imports from U.S. installations in the U.S. Ten was subject to a tariff and down price special for Chinese imports when the price would increase in the tariff set to black imports in 2012 residential natural prices would rise to $1.78. Frequent heat wave blackouts are coming now stone 88. At the same year as that heat wave, we had massive blackouts and prolonged and very dangerous terms of years so time the number of blackouts in the U.S. per year administrable and left of extreme heat wave blackout majors increasing and solar adoption in the U.S. Solves whereas at all 11 solar PV pro average generation wide heat demand driven by AC during maximum heat wave heat grid cannot play place with a massive solar energy influx and bond average mean availability of solar during heat wave driven blackouts was nearly 90% ideal in August 2003. Blackout heat wave driven by but kept the cascading failure from the precipitating the average and blackouts caused disease spread telling us from 8. Electricity is typically regarded as available, rather plenty for influence of foodborne and proprietary health system, which assume that the lights will be non-dynamic plants, not assume the loss of electricity in the U.S. has major electrical blackouts and electric compound heat waves and health impact of associated blackouts and key components of public health can be rendered and impact public health preparedness depends on the infrastructure prevention and availability of clean electricity and clean drinking water, sewage system, and emergency accounted for large shops and disease mortality and extinction. Gregor 8 letter by the noble price for discoveries and material pollution catastrophe and living on competition with bankers and the guarantee that we will survive the opposition to evolving in our immune system and on the other hand, like given the rate to see 2 minutes and losing the race to dribbling your head side of the victory, I think things will be remarkable and natural gas price pegs representing huge threat to the free gas industry, including fertilizer supplies, and short salt, stones 9, drilling's declining price falling and the natural gas demand and price of economy turn signal and production and green starting the light, the only mechanism exists no man's destruction by price pegs contribute to manufacturing, losing jobs, and then after the fertilizer production and manufacturing, we have the instructors for high cost, all over increased supplies of beer, sewer chain production, we see still mercenaries and 98. Imports from Canada in 2003, New Mexico from the Gulf and every chase and national observatory high inherent lights and contribute to creative despite the last 10 years continue to do so and affordable solar power gas that hedge against natural gas price takes ensures stability from the industry power from partners 11 the uncertainty around natural gas prices and the uncertainty of the solar alarm from the contracts and global predictable solar exchange stable source of power from solar assets and production of good followable gas fired peak power prices and owners natural gas making money by higher prices beyond the hedge against natural gas volatility solar and soon competitive certainty and perspective figures that the fertilizer energy is key ACA 3 high price pegs represent the most fierce threats to fertilizer and the industry believes that prior to the US developable energy other from its variety of energy systems potential long-term viability of sector and prevent decimation of North American fertilizer and the US government stabilize natural gas and that's also food crisis fertilizer into 9. Fertilizer responsible for 2% of the world's food supply. Fertilizer is potential to by replacing nutrients. Global demand for fertilizer growing rapidly in the U.S. global domestic fertilizer industry to ensure the resources to stable food production and food supply is the lowest in 35 years. We are just one natural disaster away from wholesale food crisis and extinction will decay. We're going to minimize the food will feed the world and minimize factoring contribute to global instability and WDs will pick up population and to grow and food will increase the land disputes. People destroy rainforests feed themselves more until grounds will feed disasters. Meaning growing the previous 3 times more food than the U.S. production increasing food production in places that role and struggle on the planet and Cross X, not the last card.
Okay, not the last card.
Yeah.
Awesome. Okay. So, are these tariffs, is the effect like perception based or is it just the economic factor?
No, there's certainly, one is perception based insofar as it means that the trade relationship between the U.S. and China, between the U.S. and China continues to decline, but there is an immediate economic impact insofar as it increases solar prices globally. If we basically reduce demand, we can't get like the components necessary for the domestic industry, and that raises prices overall.
Sure. So reading a line out of your Bavier card, it says these tariffs are in addition to the existing U.S. duties on Chinese solar panels. So why hasn't this triggered the trade war link yet?
There's a significant difference between a duty and a full tariff, right? The U.S. specifically enacted this tariff because they want to protect domestic industries. That is a highly protectionist move as opposed to just like extracting a little bit of tax to it. China has perceived that it's specifically a move to insulate the U.S.'s domestic industry and sees that as an attack against their economy because they've been restructuring their economy around clean energy leadership.
The new tariffs are also 10 times the ones it's talking about.
Okay, that's fine. So is there like a bright line of when this would trigger a trade war? Or
yeah, our evidence indicates that solar uniquely leads to escalated trade tensions and it has unique potential for a trade war because China's been restructuring its entire energy or its entire economy around a new energy policy. The U.S. wants to lead in renewable energy and is unlikely to back off and compromise on this. It's a massively strategic industry, right? Energy resources are obviously vital to the growth of both nations, which means that there is a slew of factors that contribute to solar being uniquely key to escalation.
Have these already taken effect, or are they going to take effect in the near future?
Well, we're on the brink now, right? Like the risk now is that the U.S.
tariffs, like, are the tariffs already in place?
Yes.
Yeah, the U.S. tariff is already in place. The danger is that China will retaliate with tariffs of their own, which will escalate the crisis. And that's likely given how important it is to both economies.
Sure. Do you want to find out?
What evidence do you have that the tariff has been finalized by the International Trade Commission as well as the Chamber of Commerce?
I mean, if you want evidence on that, it'll be in the 2AC, but as of the status quo, the tariff is enacted.
Like,
They have a review of it, but we can read evidence if you need that they won't roll it back, but as of now, the tariff is in place.
Like, so is this only like a perception-based thing, or?
The tariff is being imposed on Chinese PV now. They have an opportunity to roll it back. We can read evidence that they won't, but right now, solar prices are being raised by the tariff.
Okay, and also for the trade war stuff, how's this unique considering there's been major trade disputes over stuff such as like tires and
Yeah, that'd be like
other
the
rare.
5 reasons that I just listed that solar energy is uniquely key to an escalating trade war, right? China's been restructuring its entire economy in order to be more fuel independent and restructuring it in terms of like providing solar energy to the world.
I'll take.
What does you have?
Yeah.
Is someone timing this?
Yeah, I got it. Stop right. That was 134 use. Here's the speech. 1NC round 1, Kentucky.
I get the judge chat from the judge also.
Yeah.
Or is it in the trial?
Yeah, just.
Then never mind, we can keep that.
Okay. The order. The order is going to be 3 off and case on China advantage and then domestic solar advantage.
China then.
Yeah. Okay, is everyone ready? Alright. First is T. A interpretation. 1 restriction to preclude production. Restriction means limit and control. Dictionary.com no date. Restriction, limitation, and control of something with someone or something. Restriction must be directly on energy production. The word on means in contact with Graham Lawyer 16. The standard dictionary defines the word on as follows: in such a position where reference to something is contact with it. And B, violation. 1, regulations that increase costs are distinct from restrictions which prohibit access. E, clock. Environmental act, policy activists are on natural lab for regulatory constraint impact natural gas by 1 or any more the combination of the following restricting access, thereby making it unavailable to E and P, increasing cost to delay production. 2, tariff reduction is fiscal, not financial incentive. UNCTAD 4, financial incentive, investment growth, subsidized credit guarantees, government insurance, and preferential rates, fiscal incentive, import duty exemption, capital goods, equipment, or raw materials, parts, and imports related to the production process. And 3, the plan makes purchase of solar panels from China cheaper that may not result in more energy production. Analogy to investment incentive, for which investors don't have to produce any energy is instructive. Can senior economists rent it all in after investment is complete. Investment incentive no longer available. Production incentive may help ensure that the investor and incentive to operate the plant is build the primary role production incentive likely to play in production of fuel. And C, non-production incentives destroy predictable limits. First is unlimited number. And award to Executive Director J. Schwartz Research Company, Conservancy A. The incentives are policy instrument that affect the relative costs and benefits of different activities. The number of incentives are practically limitless. And 2 is core grant. Most strong, wide-ranging negatives based on production incentive, fuel price distance, emission distance, spending distance, mechanism, capital, and complicates all relate to production. 3, smaller is better. The topic is gigantic and multi-directional with 2 types of mechanism multiplied by 6 types of energy, multiplied by 100 direction. Advantages take requiring production. The only hope for the neg. D, affects unlimited investment incentive may indirectly affect energy production. Everything from the state economy, production of energy, non-topical sources such as biomass and geothermal affects topical energy production. In fact, any activity affects all others in industrial economy. Corn research professor Shalom et al. For the IA4 industrial economy, there are links immediately or remotely between A1 activity and all the other activities in the economy. E, for neg on T, predictable limits, balance, and focus the topic enabling cash preparation and research use are about to promote these core debate values. Next off is dissent. Obama will win unemployment below 8%, improving the economy. Chicago Tribune 10.5. The unemployment rate dropped to near low 7.8%. The boosted Obama's employment rate. He focused on the race employees at 114,000 jobs. The payroll last one, their second to last report of November 6th election. Putting pressure on China for unfair trade practices. Popular on PR 928. And there's boogeyman Ohio presidential sweep say China Democratic and Republican presidential candidate have already aired nearly 30,000 ads mentioned China many years in the Ohio Ramen campaign is saying China still ideas everything in computer spider just sometime Obama taking action, sometime taking no Obama releasing ad and claiming the GOP nominee at the time of bank capital looking at jobs in China. Obama administration last filed complaints with the World Trade Organization against China. Complaint involved 2 Ohio's biggest export corporate and entire when they hear newfound outrage to see the ads and promising getting top in China start like the Fox and saying we need to keep the Jakutes more secure. Perhaps a big house of this Ohioans are aware of the permanence of manufacturing. Understandable people are feeling that early gains are punishing the feeling vulnerable candidates are looking to tap especially among white working class voters who seem jobs go away. Obama will take tougher action if he's pushed into political corner. Financial Times 1.5 amid heated rhetoric Iran become one of the central political topics either electoral bump fight in the administration place comments supposed to resent Republican primaries Iran becoming variation whack the president administration officials and military discussion affected by the campaign plus the election getting complicated. The other decision Obama faced sanction becoming a political issue this year. Escalating Iran sanctions causes war-winning journalists want for the heated rhetoric and implied threats of momentum. They're on the things over more difficult step back out since Saturday and tinderbox where to refute the threatened sanctions may push the Iran towards conflict rather than peaceful solution. That's why the broken into war between US and Iran may start the sanctions hasten its advent. Next off is a K. ADF participates in a consumptive form of life that superficially addresses the environmental problems by exacerbating the root causes of currents. And 3. The principles of self-cooperation and efficiency are part of the public goals of institution use resources more efficiently to alleviate impacts of greenhouse consumption, not necessarily live within regenerative capability, saving species of reducing CO2 emissions only postpone tough choices. B. Constant consumption must be stopped. Continuation risk environmental collapse and extinction. Atoms of 7. A moderate scenario based on the UN projection suggests by 2050 humanity demand and nature twice the biosphere productive capacity can last, becoming increasingly likely growth of lanes like consumptive resources once a technology or extractive resource at the expense of long-term sustainability limited the growth of consumption. Final line in the sand has been drawn, and the alt is to refuse technical methods and government solutions in favor of the forms of life. Prefer the alt to the act and the permanence. A question of sequencing, healing, history, and philosophy. Professor Lem, why should attention be refocused where the technical problems be more desirable forms of life? The response in our current form of life for primary problem, the technical characteristics poorly equipped, engaged in primary problem solving humanity core and quantity beyond the wherewithal. A technical method government require a fundamental rethinking the kinds of society there from which the technology rather than the other way around. And next off and case. First, there is no actual justification for their plan. Tariffs haven't actually gone in place yet. NYT 10.3. The Commerce Department found earlier this year Chinese companies dominate the global panel business were benefiting unfair government subsidies, selling the price below the cost of production. Anti-dumping duty rulings were preliminary. The department is due to announce its final decision on October 10th. But for any tariffs to go into effect, the Trade Commission must find the Chinese pricing practices have actually harmed or threatened to harm the U.S. industry. Determination is not expected until November. And Chinese monopoly over REs exists and is worrying the international community. Shima 212. Words are important in the phrase Silicon Valley. Obama dropping the very ideal of global free market represent distant dreaming the world dominated by producer cartel, acting single nation cartel people, Republic produces 97% of the minerals, and China controls the RE market and more than 8. China dominates raw earth metals. They are an essential part of ingredient and technology related sector and demands growing 10-15% of the year to completely dominate one country. 95% comes from China. China has a monopoly and controls the rare earth market, seeking out for 12. China is still pulling 90% of the world's REM, taking steps to export quotas, outright mining rights to support the declining metal prices, restriction problem the U.S., Japan, and the EU complaint to the WTO, and non-unique impact. China has already begun the trade war with the intent of becoming the OPEC for rare earth. More than 8 over the past few years, China have become restricting the export of the U.S. manufacturer. With the saving business are forced to move to China, the oil, Middle East, to rare earth in China. Zeman said to improve the development of application rare earth and change China resource advantage, economic superiority. China advantage first shot, new economic war once from the war, scrambling out controlled strategic minerals. America being shut out at a time when domestic resources and production attain raw bottom and the solar advantage. Natural gas will be the new mode of energy production, large reserves and competitive advantage. Sirkin, senior partner of Boston Consulting Group 917. The new technology enables to recover vast amounts of previously inaccessible natural gas gas. The U.S. has a huge deposit of natural gas that's starting to virtually everyone. A game changer will multiplier effect, and the America's natural gas advantage enables U.S. utilities to convert abundant low-cost gas and lower-cost electricity power. Our factories use inventory of natural gas, and the shorts are all-time highs of energy movement, and it's filled them. A huge reserves of natural gas will change the plant fuel. Mueller, Professor of Physics 86, the most important new development energy landscape recognition and more source of natural gas are recoverable exploitatively. Shale gas is the most important new fact for determining energy security. Huge supply of shale gas is gas pressure. Mueller 86, new gas produced by shale is about the 30% of total U.S. gas production. Still, gas work comparable in both excitement and potential weather goal. Rest of the view are also the arcade transmission grid inevitably breakdown, causing blackouts to grind the economy to a halt. Greater 7. The grid, unless the greatest fixed blackout, there will become more common. Demand for electricity rises, result in overstretched grid, exploding transformer, and the blackouts and blackouts with electricity dependent on the layer transmission grid. Imagine driving Maserati over a road littered with potholes. Also, there's no risk of trade. Tariff doesn't affect competitiveness. Hart and Gordon 516. Innovation demand side policy now. Cheap imports are real keys for solid and sustainable growth in the United States. Solar and module prices declined rapidly in recent years, falling by 50% in 2011. Low China manufacturing been major contributor to price decline. Solar installation companies and other tariffs argue the only way to reach grid parity. Fossil fuels keep prices low. Only way to keep prices low. Low cost Chinese imports coming. Never mind what the Chinese government might or doing. Generate prices. Never mind what those activities do or do not do. International trade rule anti-tariff argument assume the import tariff raise the price of China. Manufacturer tariffs. The U.S. consumer no longer access coverage panels. Lack Chinese pricing would reduce the trajectory more broadly. Higher use prices then make solar less attractive investors. Slowing industry growth. Alternatively, China panels keep jumping the U.S. theory. The prices overall continue to go down, ultimately leading more domestic solar installation. But the theory doesn't comport with basic realities. International trade fact, the Chinese government and the other foreign governments engage in dumping by using WTO illegal methods to reward prices and drive down foreign investment out of the firm. The end result of the Chinese market's dominance. That dominance in natural force not necessarily a bad thing, but due to state subsidies, problematic because that would mean China and state officials determine which companies' technology to determine the critical market, and the official may not choose well. Also, placing tariff on Chinese solar panels is good. Hart and Gordon 516 maintain a mutually beneficial trade relationship requires a steady hand fee for capitulation, not winning strategy. What exactly are anti-tariff is warning and then enforcing trade rules in the United Trade Board. The logic behind trade wars is that the U.S. responds to illegal trade activity by enforcing mutually agreed in trade rules, and the Chinese government retaliated against U.S. company by accusing the U.S. own misconduct, levying tariffs against U.S. parties, simply shutting down the U.S. companies. A trade war argument basically assuming they're facing retaliation wars, putting up initial misbehavior, better off putting our heads in the sand, ignoring Chinese government regulation and trade policy, continuing on as usual. The retaliatory fears are valid. We can already see this coming in solar trade to get to China, target the solar war position, 5 retaliatory trade complaints in China military commerce investigating Chinese trade against 6 U.S. level renewable energy incentive. Slated announced the fines May 25th, right after U.S. anti-dumping agreement. U.S. upstream selling silicon manufacturing claimed in addition to Chinese government officials, some of their customers threatened to terminate purchasing, resulting in significant tariffs. China take retaliation after by levying tariffs and switching non renewables. U.S. companies feel being impact wouldn't allow China to have violated international trade agreements, ultimately have a bigger, more disastrous impact on the U.S. economy. Also, and price declines are relevant. Natural gas is strong in the near future. Gerson 97 natural gas companies want their stocks come early this year. Just stand away.
What does energy production in the context of solar mean?
It would mean based on like the direct production of conversion of energy from one source being from the sun to a form of electricity.
The only piece of evidence that I see on energy production on T, and the one in T is only tagged as such, and it's a definition of the word on, right? Meaning in contact with, right? So for solar, for something that can't be extracted, for example, in any way other than like solar panels, what is a restriction on production?
The thing is, yeah, you're right about how we have to use solar panels to be able to do this, but you would have to directly increase the production of that stuff, not just preventing a trade agreement.
Well, just conceded that solar panels are the only way to increase energy production in the context of solar.
We agree, but you do not directly incentivize this or remove the restriction.
It's more of an issue
you
with
just pretty much
tariff.
just raise the price on solar panels. Even in the world of status quo, solar panels could still come from China into the U.S. just at a higher price. They could be theoretically used for like
any mechanism, right? About like tariffs, for example, your UNCTAD card lists a distinction between fiscal and financial incentives, but can you point out to me where in the card text it actually says something about tariffs?
Yeah, sure. Under fiscal incentives, it says import-based duty exemption on capital goods, equipment or raw materials, parts and inputs related to production process.
Okay, so it doesn't actually.
I mean, that would.
The context of tariffs.
That is based on tariffs. I mean, it's a duty exemption based on capital goods relating to something used for production. Okay, that's fine.
Let's talk about elections. Your link assumes, your link is saying that pressuring China on trade is popular, but your argument is that that puts Obama in a dangerous situation, right? Because he's been weak on China?
Well, if he were to not pressure them by removing the tariff, that would put him in a weak spot. with like pressure from voters and especially also the Republican Party saying, hey, why aren't you being
if you
tough
were to
on
not
China?
pressure them by removing the tariff, I'm sorry, I'm just like confused about why you're reading this link with that uniqueness. Pressuring China on trade is popular, right?
Yeah.
But your evidence, the body of your evidence indicates that that would put Obama in a tricky spot politically because he's been soft on China.
That evidence says that
Well, that would be the status quo.
yeah,
soft
like
on
if
China.
he were to go with removing the tariff, that would make him look weak on China.
Okay.
That would put him in a tough position.
Yeah, that's
By
fair.
acting strong on China
Where
and
does your
forcing.
evidence assume, like, make a comparative claim about the salience of energy policy and economic policy? Because your
I mean, it's based on-
evidence that unemployment is below 8% and that Obama's doing really well because of it seems to
I mean, it's based on
all that.
manufacturing, and especially where it's like the perception of more manufacturing jobs going overseas to China
So it's
will
not
sure
so much-
rile up voters.
It's not so much like energy production as a whole. That's
It's based on
the election, it's
manufacturing
about
and acting
manufacturing.
tough on China,
Okay,
which
that's
you're
great. What's the status of your critique?
It is conditional.
That's fine.
We'll take a little prep. I have 9 left. It's 2AC round 1.
Can I have the flash drive back when you're ready with this?
Yeah, wait, just get them.
Not this one.
Yeah, this is,
The
yeah.
one with 2AC on it.
Oh.
He's just
okay.
pulling it up.
Order will be China, domestic solar, T, K, this side.
Is your choice on this one?
Yeah, it's 2AC round 1.
If you just do date modifier, it pops up.
Is everyone good? Great. China, the combination of decline of protectionism outweighs the resentment and collapse of interdependence causes global conflict escalation. That's where royal and pastor evidence outweighs any terminal impact of the dissent. Now the tariff is in place. Now we're at one evidence indicates the U.S. has already imposed it. It is in effect pending the results of their review, meaning the tariff is in place, and the ITC review will uphold the tariff for action in Wall 320. Commerce addition or something ruling by the ATC domestic industry subprogram. And for such a decision favored the domestic industry when there have been bankruptcies, mass layoffs despite 3 decades since American solar always forward the biggest survivors restored sizable layoffs in Japan's WTA. And go to the China rare earth argument. There is no China rare earth monopoly now. Japan's WTO case breaks at lead 324. Every rare earth element has in permanent surplus by 2017 and 2010. The BRC cracked down on rare earth shipments to Japan. WTO persuaded to China pure down the Japanese diplomatic agenda. Excuse me. And the also China on the WTO case looked very bad. China will accept the WTO as an Austrian remain a member of standing the trade despite current stomach and fears the dreaded Chinese monopoly will have collapsed. Also, the evidence saying this because the trade war is 4 years old just means it's empirically denied that this particular trade war escalates. Our evidence says that alternative energy renewables are uniquely likely to escalate. Now, there's no impact to the tariff good argument, and there's no evidence that China is cheating and is cheating or that this is an actual trade violation, which means the strike or die for us. They dropped the whole second half of the advantage. Clean tech workers is going to collapse because of resentment of the tariff, completely independent of free trade. That means the strive for die for us to solve clean energy. To solve energy wars and warming. Go to solar. 2 impacts. First is disease. Blackouts destroy our public health response. Remove and leaves us defenseless against epidemics, guaranteeing extinction. Second is food. Collapse of the fertilizer industry destroys it, causing environmental destruction to feed our growing population. Now they group the first 2 arguments on them. The increasing supply is not sufficient to solve our stones. Evidence explicitly ensues these indicates that the supply never lines up with demand. Even if we increase supply, both supply and demand are cyclical, which means price spikes are inevitable at some point in the cycle. Means our advantage is inevitable. Other evidence speaks of volatility. We solve the largest scale blackouts. Our evidence indicates that there's going to be more frequent and larger blackouts as a result of heat waves. Even if some grid breakdowns are inevitable, only ours lead to kind of long-term loss of public health response that's necessary to cause disease. Yes, the collapse is compatible with Serge Bush and Bergman. Evidence indicates it's a key internal link because it's directly raising the cost of solar panels in the United States. Only Chinese solar can allow a reduction in the kind of competition in the market necessary to solve solar cost T. 1. We meet production includes distribution coupled. 4. Energy production includes resource check and resource condition distribution links and accident with the fuel cycles involving transmission steps including movement of fuels component refining. And solar production is about the panel means panel distribution is TPNL 78 report commissioned by the DOE. Energy production is defined as transformation of natural resources into commonly used energy such as electricity, shining the sun are not examples, but installation of solar panels are consumption defined as use of one of these forms of energy. The heating water by a solar panel is referred to. A is after the primary barrier to solar is diffusion and installation, not running panels once they're there. B is limits need to prevent dozens of unpredictable end use abuse restrictions on production include tariffs on BC Sensitivity 96 restricted needs the government for it to make more difficult or expensive production and distribution of articles. The most important class of barriers in international trade tariffs is not increased production short tails that prefer that a predictability resolution of context is key bit. Self-deriving scores have to increase production. 3 financial incentives with these mechanisms deal like EL 1. Financial incentive to finance a transfer academic resources by government reducing price rate, reduce cost reduction and creating a market management financial incentive to do similar self to manage and require no loss of revenue. Prevent that a self-deriving loss of revenue guarantees after they prevent after getting energy consumer sees predictability a clear test in the context of energy. 4 is no impact to limits disclosure working in the generic self. 5 is competing interpretations race to bond full to reasonability should be a check and abuse not a strategy. 6 is no offense. First, financial incentives don't link to their infinite app arguments. They are a definition that specifically doesn't link to general incentives. We require increased protection to solve their ground arguments, and we're not effects topical. If we win our interpretation and projection, then it is the object of the affirmative consumption case. No link, we don't advocate increased energy consumption just to change in which energy we go about consuming. In cases just said A is policy advocacy of solar key to change policy that's so there evidence to be public based self protection that's shown. The role of about is to endorse the best government policy public with the government solves the better Chris 4. Analysis of nature remaining non-committal meta discourse may function against space the devastation of the device is the opportune moment for an electric flow was signed great the contradiction policy change to stop destruction. What messages are related to the public from the academic matter, the agnostic sense interpret the world and hours calling us to change in permanent to both an alternative low and fails renewables are a more effective strategy for changing behavior rational and should take. Rather than trying to fight psychological pressure continue consuming fossil fuels the development of alternative means generate electricity, expanding people's and naked desire to develop new sources are to rather than a post-psychological force instead of trying to conquer the limitation of the human mind. Such program to take advantage of human motivation and floating picks our voter mood, our plan. They want to see often that individual action fails to solve warming government policies are keeping McKid in 12. Agriculture attack of warming and FLB have the technology, but we lack the levels of us are ambivalent about going green. Hacking climate change has been trying to build a movement against yourself. It's difficult. Rights movement had been constructed evangelical creatures. The abolition movement from slaveholders. People perceive that their individual actions will not make a difference. A more efficient method would be to work through the political system. It has seemed to work in case turns the cable. You can't choose not to consume food, but failure to increase production and that wrecks the environment is a lunar evidence. There's no method to delineate good versus bad consumption. The all results in stigmatization of different preferences to the shaming culture that excludes minorities. Part 12. Many believe the consumerist culture contributes to the ecological destruction. Food is decided what's essential. Coffee may be necessary for many young, while others consider coffee non-essential. How many individuals disagree on the evolution of the new society? Stigmatize those who separate things from non-essential is problematic. Giving the non-essential means they come in varying shapes of minority rights and property vote in favor of not providing a minority case who has the right to judge the intensity of one's desire. The shaming culture is the same path leading to anti-cultural cultural revolution and permanent the affirmative and non-mutually exclusive lose parts of the all, and y'all can't solve quickly enough using market forces to shape behavior. Ski bar enhancer 6. It is impossible to convert humans into selfless creatures required to operate sustainably. It would take generations. We are running out of time there. So yeah, among what we claim, what we do in our ability, maybe you to consider the actual behavior related corporate response that college to make how to protect it on paper, we can solution work. If only everyone come together, humans should learn from Marxism's flawed view of motivation. If only is utopian reality, human nature will never achieve human self-interest. Insurmountably are deflected only by financial return. The only way to change business is through carrot in the stick. And focus on individual behavior, mint diagnosis the problem, policy advocacy is a more effective strategy, pivot at all 12. A category for environmental studies and consumptive individualization, which means that people believe in small-scale actions, save the world while the individualized responsibility for environmental problems. We ignore this large-scale problems and institutions in the favor to take seriously large social force leads to ineffective solution. When we individualize, we misunderstand and facilitate practices, even when individual behavior does change the scale, not adequate to address the nature of environmental problems or change the national policy. We cannot make perfect practices in that unless we understand the larger context of reducing solar costs, solves water shortages, Bradford 6. Declining water availability facing the evolving world, the most promising solution to desalination costs is limiting the deployment of PV power desalination plants, declining PV power prices, making these projects feasible. PV can facilitate access to adequate water supply, provide affordable fresh water without batteries, single power lines, and fuel supplies, and extinction by the way. Water prices pose the greatest threat to the and survival once we change our behavior. We're heading toward war, so to constant disagreement, change, make violent common world, complicated world, the balance entering in Syria, China, India, Gullah, Botswana, Ethiopia, Egypt, Bangladesh, and India. Elections for the October surprise. No link evidence says Obama can be hard on China through other avenues. None of their evidence is talking about China backing on other things than the tariff means the tariff stacking and sanctions. Now Obama's already pushing them, and inevitably will has done throughout his administration. Their evidence says that current sanctions are pressuring Iran. Plan to speed to China relations solves Iran. Pro-defense is 9/11. National security and strongly China relations with Iran. China, everything of trade with Iran would be kept from nukes. China would have to throw away China to be power ready. Proposal to China holds to keep preventing Iran from taking nuclear weapons in America's best interest to ensure cooperation and no internal link. There's no evidence that Obama would think he was losing, and Obama will win. Burns and Schulteis 919. Romney faces daunting. Oh, sorry. The one second. Come back to that. Or yeah. The data is not a level of consideration. You can choose to adopt Obama's policies. Level of is a keyboard will scale on the plans. Not tied to Obama. Normal means Congress and the ITC branch or level. What are the parts of the position? The trade case will procedure will begin above the political or follow quasi. Judicial has of Congress and ITC have intent to operate without partisan influence and no link threshold. They haven't proven that the link is sufficient to flip the election to Romney. And who's soon Congress speed of law one? Who's going to be the next president? Tell me who's going to win Ohio. Who will happen to be a comer? The job surveyed in 2000 trust academic grounds focus and overwhelming Democratic people who got and black are the the huge effects of unlikely random events political terms spliced on the shown often. The environment is irrelevant to the election. Economic ways APH 12B. Obama funding the terror race over the economy on bond polling shows repeatedly shows the economy is a key concern with environmental pollution issue mentioned back 1%. Even with a big push on climate Obama's environmentalists, there is little chance that undecided voters will decide the election based on climate change. I'll get you these cards after 1 sec. Romney will win now. Polls are wrong and the best models proved UCB 10-5. In a model by 2 prevents the projected Romney will win the election. Romney's projected to see 330 electoral college votes to show and the prediction in favor of Romney, even though the polls show the president in the lead. Other prevalence models 207 result. The model is the only one. It's time to include more than one state level measure of economic conditions. And the China vaccine is unpopular coronavirus. Including American people are buying and giving an option to get tougher China building a strong position voter support of bladder 53 to 40. The only group to get tough stance for Tea Party and plan to save jobs for admitted all 12. PD for increasing tariff lead decreased demand adversely impact married jobs and manufacturing Chinese retaliation result in even greater jobs at risk of 60,000 jobs to reservists as a result of U.S. tariff. And that's due to the election for 0711. Obama faces the cover of the White House. Romney's doing a good job of the unemployment report added momentum to the key topics still how to create jobs and tariffs alienating small business daily college drops. Solar President Keith no longer trusts America's political leaders to do what's best for small businesses and paying the national interest. Someone is going to have to work hard. Their trust package in American small businesses and keep becoming a poster time for American small business. This now unfair from Obama tariff and their key at FEB12. The political code of small business more inflation to people know on positive views. People hold small business spring first voter people candidates supported by small business 3 1 of organized labor and landscape and environmentalists taking small their environmental splits their economic protection industry policies are not abandoning renewable energy conservative for China cheap solar panels tariffs and China solar bad for us all one Syria club trade complaints will not solve problems and their keep Bloomberg 11 more paper price for the sponsoring environmentalist votes after young voters pathetic environmentalist goes make a cost of Obama won because a lot of young environmentalists came out in huge numbers. If he doesn't have the support he had, he's not going to be reelected. And actually, yeah, that's fine.
Do you want to jump those cards?
Yeah, I'll jump those.
Can I just get those first?
Save this GC cards. Okay. I just hold on.
Ready?
Yeah. Alright. First on T, your we meet is about like oil and natural gas production. How does this relate to alternative energy production and from solar energy?
Yeah, sure. That's why we read the next card, which contextualizes what part or what the focus of production is for solar. So the first card talks about how distribution is part of the production process. The next card talks about how for solar, the focus of energy production is the panels rather than the electricity.
That brings me to my next question, because the main reason it says is based on the installation of solar panels. Where as a mandated plan does it lead directly to installation of new solar panels?
There's a reason we read both of these cards. The first one clarifies that things like distribution to consumers are topical. The second one says that installation is one of the things that is production because it's about getting the solar panels to where they're used rather than using them. So we're saying that because the restriction or the incentive is for that distribution to consumers in the US, that is part of the production process for solar.
Yeah. Okay.
And we're directly on that.
And then on Mice's card about restrictions on production include tariffs, how is this evidence contextual to energy production?
Well, there's a reason that we first defined energy production and then defined production restrictions. If we win our interpretation of energy production, then restrictions only need to have that interpretation of energy production as their object. We think that the term of art is energy production, so yeah.
Then on domestic solar bans, you're saying like price spikes are inevitable,
yeah.
But this assumes that natural gas prices are based on a global market. However, these markets are actually regional commodities.
Yeah, that's
like how does.
You're correct, they're regional. Our evidence talks about how in the past we thought we had supply booms first from Canada and then from domestic reserves. The last two times that we had those kind of supply booms, the market responded by overestimating how much new supply we had. Demand and supply got out of alignment and price spikes happened. It says that regardless of how big new supply booms are, price spikes happen because they get out of alignment.
Okay, on the K, what's your reason? You read a card that individuals aren't able to solve warming. Why is that?
Yeah, the McKibben card says that you can't use an individual focus to solve because people are unwilling to act. First of all, because they see it as against their own interests, they have to sacrifice things, and at the same time, they see that their own action by itself will do little to change it,
So how are we able to solve this?
Well, that's why we read the Rechlinsky card and some other cards talking about how renewables and promoting them to reduce emissions is a good approach to solving environmental problems because it means that even if people won't change their personal behavior, it reduces the impacts of their personal behavior on the environment. Consuming energy is no longer a problem if that energy is clean and from solar.
Okay. Let's go to elections. First, if you said environment's irrelevant, the econ outweighs, how would the plan not affect the state of the economy?
Well, that's why we then proceeded to read a couple link turns to jobs and small business about how the plan would be a boon for the economy and help Obama there. So it's a reason why our link turns would outweigh any link you might have.
Yeah, we'll see.